कार्या पितरि पुत्रकै बाढम् इत्यनुमन्येत बाढम् इत्यनुमन्येत गौरवेण गुरोर्वचा गौरवेण गुरोर्वचा एतावत् एव शुश्रूषा What word? Etavati? To this extent. Eva? Exactly. Shushrusha? Service. Karya? Ought to be rendered. Pitari? To the father. Putrakai? By the sons. Badham iti? Accepting. Yes, sir. Anumanyeta? He should obey. Gauravena? With due deference. Gurur? Of the Guru. Vacha? Commands. Translation in purport by Sriman Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, yes, sir. Please repeat. Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, yes, sir. Purport. Two words in this verse are very important. One word is pitari and the other is gurur. The son or disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father without hesitation. Whatever the father and spiritual master order should be taken without argument. Yes. There should be no instance in which the disciple or the son says, this is not correct, I cannot carry it out. When he says that, he is fallen. The father and the spiritual master are on the same platform because the spiritual master is the second father. The higher classes are called Dvija or twice born. Whenever there is a question of birth, there must be a father. The first birth is made possible by the actual father, and the second birth is made possible by the spiritual master. Sometimes the father and the spiritual master may be the same man, and sometimes they are different men. In any case, the order of the father or the order of the spiritual master must be carried out without hesitation, with an immediate yes. There should be no argument. That is real service to the father and to the spiritual master. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated that the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciples. When a man cannot separate his life from his body, a disciple cannot. As a man cannot separate his life from his body, a disciple cannot separate the order of the spiritual master from his life. If a disciple follows the instruction of the spiritual master in that way, he is sure to become perfect. This is confirmed in the Upanishads. The most important of Vedic instruction is revealed automatically only to one who has implicit faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his spiritual master. One may be materially considered an illiterate man, but if he has faith in the spiritual master as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the meaning of scriptural revelation is immediately manifest before him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahi Padati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadvitam Parijana Shahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Saharanandita Shri Vishakamatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamam Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langete hiranyatkipasamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramanandamadanam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam is basically in relation to the fact that Prajapati Pati, or the Pati of the Prajapati, the master of the Prajapati is Brahma, is thanking his son Kardama for following his instructions, begetting good progeny. And the translation and purport is very straightforward. It basically says that the spiritual son, or in fact spiritual daughter, right, has to obey the order of the spiritual master with just one word, saying that yes sir, one should accept the instruction of the spiritual master. Again, yesterday Yugal Kishore Prabhu gave a wonderful class, and he basically mentioned it is very easy to speak when you have an audience hearing, but in reality following this throughout one's lifetime is a very daunting task. It needs a great deal of surrender and purity, which I don't have, but still I'll try to speak something for my own purification. So the first section here, it's described that Prabhupada says the son or a disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father without hesitation. So whatever Krishna mentions, Krishna shows through example. So when the Supreme Lord, Krishna Mande Jagat Gurum, he teaches by example. So when he comes down as Ramachandra, or he comes down in his original form as Sri Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can see that throughout all these pastimes, Krishna is teaching this by example. There is one beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto where Sukadev Goswami summarizes the entire Ramayana in one verse. End of the 10th canto, he summarizes Krishna's pastimes also in one verse. Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado. Very beautiful verse. Ramayana, when he summarizes in one verse, it's a very big chanda. The first sentence goes like this, 9.10.4. Guru Arte Tyakta Rajya Vyacharat Anuvanam Padma Padbyam Priyaya. It starts with Guru Arte. What happened? Ramachandra, on the instruction of Guru Arte, his spiritual master like father, just one word his father said, to fulfill the vow I had given to my wife, you have to be banished to the forest. Guru Arte immediately, Tyakta Rajya, he gave up his entire kingdom. Had I been there or anyone else, right, in Ramachandra's place, we would have tried to justify. We would have used our intelligence, saying, Mantara, why did you do this? This is a matter between our family. Who asked you to come in between what our expectations are and give advice to Kaikeyi? I might have told Kaikeyi that, why do you listen to her? Don't you know that I am the most qualified person here? Or to Dashrath Maharaj, father, don't you know that you have other responsibilities? A rightful person should be sitting on the throne. But Ramachandra did not question anything. Instantly, Guru Arte, because his spiritual master like father told him, Tyakta Rajya, he gave up his kingdom. Vyacharat Anuvanam, started wandering in the forest. Padma Padbyam, with his two beautiful lotus feet, and with Priyaya, his Priya, Sita, Mother Sita by his side. So just one word of his father, and Ramachandra just followed this. Sita could have stayed back. And she said, no, you are like my guru, you are my husband, you are all in all. I rather be in the forest with you, oh dear Ramachandra, rather than being in a hellish life in Ayodhya without your presence. And she said that even if there are thorns that come in my way or in your way, I will go ahead of you and I will pluck those thorns so that you can have a very comfortable journey through the forests. And we saw that the biggest thorn of that time was Ravana. And she first made her way to Lanka and Ramachandra followed and uprooted the thorn. The point being, one-minded desire of just accepting what the spiritual master says. So that as Sri Ramachandra, he shows that whatever the spiritual master says, the father or the son basically just follow. And then it's also described that Krishna, when he is giving Guru Dakshina after receiving instructions from Sandipuni Muni, the Sandipuni Muni is asking him, please bring back my dead son. And Krishna does not make any excuses. Right? He immediately goes, fights with the demon in Varuna Loka. He doesn't find him there, goes to Yamaraj's abode and brings back his son without any questions. Same thing we know with Krishna, with Sudama. The story of Sudama. When Sudama is asked by Sandipuni Muni, have you learned that verse? Sudama says, no, Guru Maharaj, I don't know that verse. I have not memorized it yet. And so he gets punished. Go to the forest to pick up firewood. And then Krishna, although he knows the verse, he wants to accompany his friend Sudama. So even he says, no, Guru Maharaj, even I don't know. So his Guru Maharaj gives him a punishment. Go to the forest and get wood for the sacrifice. And he also lives with Sudama. So whatever the spiritual master says, Krishna immediately follows. So in this way, we see that Bhagavatam describes that there are three things that are very important. 11th canto. It's described that is necessary to cross over this ocean of birth and death. One is the boat, one is the captain of the boat, and the other one is favorable winds. The boat is this human body, the human form we have. Durlabam manusham deha. Very rare. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopajana Vallabha. Hari ki Jai. It is extremely rare to get this human form of life. After traversing through so many hundreds of thousands of species, we have gotten this boat by which we can cross over the ocean of birth and death. But now that we have gotten this boat of human form, one needs to have a captain of this boat, which is the spiritual master. Who is the spiritual master? Who directs us towards God and who gives us those instructions, and the favorable wind are the instructions of the scriptures. So with the favorable wind of the scriptures given to us by the spiritual master, who is the captain of the boat, if one follows his instructions, then one can cross this ocean of material world. We might have broken regulative principles. We might have eaten meat. We might have had illicit relationships. We might have performed so many sinful activities. We might be watching mundane movies. We might be eating non-prasadam. Whatever things we have done in the past, in our past lives. Is there hope? Yes. Once we have come to this path, once we have the mercy of the spiritual master, then Prabhupada says here that if one strictly follows the instructions of the spiritual master, if he says right, it's right. If he says left, left. Not sometimes I'll go left, then right. Or when no one is seeing, then I will go right. I remember I was in Udupi one day, and after Mangalarti, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he wanted to go to a temple, Vadabandeshwar temple by the ocean. And he asked me, can you take me to the temple? And at that time, I was in college, about 15 years ago. I had a charisma bike, a modified bike. And I was thinking, Maharaj is wearing dhoti like a sannyasi. Can you sit on that bike? I told him, no, Maharaj, I can get you a car from my friend and I can take you there. And he said, no, never mind. And he walked to the balcony with me. And there he was looking to see if there are buses. This was 5 a.m. And there was one bus going by towards Manipal, where my university was. And he made a statement. He said that if this bus, the spiritual master says, goes to Udupi, somehow this bus will turn and go towards Udupi. Because the potency of Krishna is there in the words of a spiritual master. And I was taken aback. I was like, wow, this is really intense. And in the 4th canto Bhagavatam, Prithu Maharaj is saying the same thing. He's saying that when I am speaking, right, what is the power of the voice or my speech? It is either through the life air, right? We can see the life air coming through the mouth. The voice is coming through my vocal cords, or it might be coming even from my heart. But he says for a spiritual master, when he gives an instruction, when he speaks something, then that speech, that air that comes out of his lotus lips is actually touching the lotus feet of Krishna, Paramatma, who is there in the heart. So when the spiritual master is speaking, then that breeze of Krishna's lotus feet as Paramatma in the heart is being touched, and that is emanating from his lotus-like lips. And so what he says is what Krishna wants us to follow. And Krishna will make it happen. So he was saying, Maharaj was saying that what he says, one has to do. What he says you should not do, one should not do. Sometimes getting up in the morning is difficult. The mind might say, no, I'm feeling sleepy. I am tired. I slept late at night. I'm not getting so much taste. I will not chant 16 rounds, maybe 10 rounds. But he was saying that we might think this is very difficult. It does not matter. It pleases Krishna. It pleases spiritual masters. So one has to do what is anukul, what is favorable for a devotional service. And what is not favorable, even though we like to do, it might be enjoyable for our material senses. One should refrain from doing that. And when one lives a life this way, then one gets the ultimate treasure of love of God and servitude to one's spiritual master. So, very important. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared here, he chose Ishwarapuri to be his spiritual master. Why? Ishwarapuri had served the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puri, his spiritual master, in his last days when Madhavendra Puri was in great pain of separation from Krishna. He was crying out for Krishna. He would not be able to move out of his bed, passing urine and stool. He would clean everything of his spiritual master. And by rendering service in this way, Mahaprabhu was so pleased that he took initiation from Ishwarapuri. So Krishna is himself demonstrating this. And Prabhupada also, followed the same footsteps of the predecessor acharyas. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, if you get money, print these books. And Prabhupada took that as his life and soul. And his disciples to explore this movement, Hare Krishna movement, especially in that time, right, when Prabhupada was so intensely spreading this in every town and village, they took this to heart. Once Prabhupada was in Venezuela, and the disciples, they had translated these books in Spanish, and they wanted to present it to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was right there in Venezuela. The book just arrived from the press, and Prabhupada had left for the airport. So this one sannyasi who was there along with some devotees, they rushed to the airport to show Prabhupada, it has been translated, Bhagavatam, in Spanish language. And when they reached the airport, Prabhupada had already crossed immigration and he had gone to the boarding section. So this sannyasi, and you can imagine this was at that time, nobody had heard about sannyasi, right? In Venezuela, saffron clothes, shaven head, shika, with a danda stick in his hand, kantimala, and he's running through the airport, trying to give this book to Srila Prabhupada. And as he's going through, all people are going aside, parting ways. He looks like an alien for them, right? They've never seen such a person. And with this danda stick, he's moving it around like a weapon, saying that this is meant to serve my spiritual master. And he's using that as a weapon to go through, and he goes through all the checkpoints. The devotees would do such crazy things to please Srila Prabhupada. One devotee had gotten Brahman Diksha that morning, Brahman thread. Evening, Prabhupada is giving a Pandal class. And the recorder, that is, with the microphone was falling 2-3 times. They didn't have anything to tie that dictaphone or the microphone to the recorder to the microphone. So he took out his Brahmin thread and he tied that around. And Prabhupada's eyes became wide. Prabhupada said, what are you doing? I gave you Brahmin initiation in the morning. This disciple, he's saying that Prabhupada, the meaning of Brahmin means to fully surrender and serve the spiritual master. If this thread can serve you so that your Vani can go for generations and generations, that is the perfect use of this thread. Prabhupada said, wonderful. So that was the surrender. Whatever Prabhupada said, they would say, yes, Prabhupada. And this sannyasi, he's going through and everyone part ways and he runs through immigration. And they're talking through their walkie-talkie. Someone has come. We have never seen this person before. Catch him. And he comes sliding and he comes towards the Prabhupada in the boarding area. And Prabhupada's eyes again light up. Every day would be an amazing day. When Prabhupada was there, every day was mysterious and full of action. And he gave Prabhupada the Spanish book. Prabhupada looked at the Spanish translations and he said, please read something from this book. A random page he opened. And he read in Spanish. And Prabhupada said, yes, tell that translation in English. And he spoke in English. Prabhupada said, very good. Very wonderfully translated. And one more page like this. Prabhupada went through a few pages. And then it was time to board. Prabhupada took that with him. And he went. He said, but Prabhupada, you don't understand Spanish. He said, no, Bhagavatam is Krishna. And I want to be very close to Sri Krishna. And Prabhupada left. Same thing with Portuguese translation also. Prabhupada was in the airport. There was no sannyasi that time. Prabhupada was boarding a flight to LA. And this devotee, he took the walkie-talkie of one of the persons there and made an announcement. Please stop this flight. They stopped the flight. And he rushed into the flight. And of course, I just came back from India 2 days ago. You know, now it's different, right? After 9/11, it has changed. At that time, it was more relaxed, but still. He went into the flight and gave this book to Prabhupada and pleased Prabhupada so much. That was their surrender. Whether devotees are told to go to Japan, Chintamani Mataji, Purijan Prabhu, Jakadarini Mataji, or go to London, meet the Beatles, they did amazing things. And that was the Guru Nishtha they had, Srila Prabhupada. Reflective of what Prabhupada also had. Right? His first meeting with his Guru Maharaj, his Guru Maharaj said, you are a very intelligent person. And you speak English very well. Go to the Western world and give this message. 50 years ago, in Radha Damodar temple, Prabhupada would be speaking Bhagavatam class in English. Brajvasis, they would not know English. And Prabhupada would give class in English, but Gaudiya Vaishnavas in Vrindavan would come, they would hear, they would not understand much, but they would know it's Prabhupada, a great soul. And then later when Hare Krishna movement became such a big sensation all over the world, Prabhupada came back with his dancing white elephants. Then they understood that Prabhupada was practicing to speak in English in America with them as the guinea pigs. So means Prabhupada had this in his heart. They might understand or not understand, doesn't matter. This is the instruction that my Guru Maharaj has given to speak in English, and I am going to practice for that instruction, saying, yes, sir, I will do that. That was Prabhupada's mood. We can see that even today, right? If we see some of the wonderful preachers, young preachers in the world, Amarendra Prabhu, we all know of, Hari Parshad Prabhu, Lal Govind Prabhu, their Guru Maharaj, Radha Govind Maharaj, he was the last devotee to meet and talk to Anuradha Priya Mataji also. Right? Maharaj's mercy is so intense. His Bhagavatam, Bhakta, he's such an amazing Bhagavatam speaker. He gives Krishna through Bhagavatam. One day Prabhupada came back from some preaching tours to Vrindavan, very late at night. It was very late and few devotees knew that Prabhupada is arriving. And so they came down to invite Prabhupada inside. But many other brahmacharis who didn't know, they were sleeping. So the lights were off and Prabhupada said, don't disturb them, let the lights be off in the ashram. And as Prabhupada was walking in, he saw in the brahmachari ashram, there was one room which had the light on. And Prabhupada said, who is that? And one brahmachari went to find out who it was. And Prabhupada said, no, I know who it is. It is Radha Govinda. He is reading Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said. And Prabhupada knew. And then this devotee still went and knocked on the door, and Radha Govind Maharaj, who was newly initiated, he was reading Bhagavatam late at night. And he immediately closed the book, came down and paid obeisances to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada spoke to him in English. At that time, very new, Maharaj didn't know English. He knew only Hindi. But Maryad Vyatikrama, he didn't want to disturb Prabhupada or ask what is it, I didn't understand. He just nodded his head and paid obeisances, went back. And next day in the morning, Prabhupada is giving Bhagavatam class. And like this, there is a pillar. Many devotees are sitting there in Vrindavan. And he was hiding behind the pillar, sitting and listening to Bhagavatam. And of so many devotees after the class, Prabhupada looked and Prabhupada said, who is that? And Maharaj, he came out and Prabhupada said, why are you sitting there? And putting his eyes down, not fixing it on Prabhupada, in very humble mood. He said, Prabhupada, actually, yesterday you told me something I didn't understand. Today, if you ask me something about it, I won't be able to answer. So I was hiding from you. Prabhupada told him, this Bhagavatam that you're reading, continue to read. Absorb this. Make this your life and spread this all over the world. Right? That one instruction of Prabhupada, that became his life and soul. And what instructions he's given to his disciples is becoming their life and soul. And we can see the potency of the instruction of the spiritual master, which is flowing through one instruction of the Guru. And his disciples have taken it so seriously. I remember when I was in Vrindavan first time, I would go upstairs to the Brahmacharya ashram and kind of wander around just to get a sneak peek inside Aindra Prabhu's room. Sometimes Aindra Prabhu would be in his room doing some service, or he would walk out and I would just want to have darshan. And outside his room, there was a plank that said that if you have not finished your 16 rounds, there is no higher service for you to the Guru Parampara than to finish chanting first. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, when my wife got initiated, she said that you need to make a frame of your vows and put that in your room so that you can see what vows are to be followed from your spiritual master. That is how important they take it. Sometimes for us, like I was in India for a few days, I got a cheap ticket to India, so the same day I left for only 4 days. Why? My uncle, he had invited me for my sister's wedding, and he invited me personally 4 months ago. Then he sent the invitation. Then he shipped the invitation here. And I was thinking, I don't want to go. But still, he had helped my mother a lot when she had gone through some health problems. So I was thinking, my only sister, should I? And then I went. And if I think about it, because he personally invited me, I went. If he had not personally invited me, I might probably not have gone. When we think a spiritual master has given me a personal instruction, then it is very dear to me. I think I have to follow this. I remember after my initiation, I went to my Guru Maharaj. I asked him, Maharaj, please give me an instruction, a personal instruction. He told me, always be Krishna conscious. I'm like, I wanted something which is so juicy, something which is like distribute books, and all my life will distribute books, something which is like out of the world. He gave a very gentle instruction. And even yesterday, Yugal Kishore Prabhu was saying when young devotee went to Radhanath Maharaj and he said, Maharaj, I want a personal instruction. He said, read Prabhupada's books, all instructions are there. Then he went back after a few days. But Maharaj, I want a personal instruction for myself. He said, okay, then here my classes, everything in my classes are personal instructions. And he was very morose. Then after 1 more week, he came back. He said, Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, I want personal instruction. He said, very grave way, I can give you, but you won't be able to take it. So he went back and told the Shiksha Guru and he said, yes, follow what he has said. Sometimes we think if it's personal, then we take it very seriously. But in one Q&A session of Amarendra Prabhu, I heard, I thought it's very, very instructive, that he said, when we are sitting in the class of our spiritual master, it is not that one person is speaking, your Guru is speaking, and like when Radhanath Maharaj had come, right, there were so many hundreds of devotees. We are not one amongst hundreds of devotees. He said, when you are sitting in the class, it is him speaking and only you receiving. He is speaking for you. Like Parikshit Maharaj, when he is sitting, there are 60,000 other sages, but he is the receiver. Sukadev Goswami is speaking for him. So every class of our Guru should be a class for you. He is speaking that to you personally. The more we can connect with that, every one instruction also we take and we go so deep. Sometimes now, so many classes are there on YouTube, right? We have so much vast variety of classes. We keep toggling 1, 2, 3, 4. we go so far wide, but we never go, I'm talking to myself, we never go deep in. Rather, that one instruction for my spiritual master I take to my heart and I meditate on it, I chew on it, I think about it. When I chant, I meditate. When I work, I meditate throughout my day, throughout my week. Then I see how I can make that come into life and change my own perspective, change my heart. Then, when we go deeper into that, we actually make tangible progress. Because the spiritual master, along with the instruction, gives us empowerment also. That empowerment comes with that instruction. I remember when my Guru Maharaj had come here to 2013, I remember one disciple of Radhanath Maharaj offered his house right across Devasadan Mandir for him to stay. One more devotee, another disciple of another Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, gave his car, very nice car. His disciples, of course, were serving him. One more disciple of another Guru did something else. And when they came together so much, my Guru Maharaj said, "This is amazing. I have been to so many ISKCON temples. This is one of the very rare temples or yatras that I see such wonderful reciprocations of all spiritual masters trying to serve. This is very rare. I don't see that very often." So one should take a clue. What pleases my Guru Maharaj? What pleases Srila Prabhupada? And in that mood, like this time when last year I went in April, one devotee asked my spiritual master, "Guru Maharaj, what pleases you? What can we do?" He said, "Be a pure devotee." So we might think this is very hefty. I cannot even do, I am so fallen. Yes, humility is there. But if we take it seriously, what is it meant to be pure devotee? Anya abhilashita shunya. What abhilash do I have? Oh, I have these anarthas. Prabhuji went so nicely through the anarthas, right? That Manashiksha describes. Then what anartha do I have? How can I work on that anartha? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if one anartha that you have, you can go past that anartha. You make more progress in spiritual life than any other thing you can do in your spiritual life. So what is that I can tackle? If I'm sincere, then Krishna will help us go past it. So in this way, one has to meditate. I'm talking to myself in a way where we can think what will please my spiritual master and make even a class that I hear about it, a personal class just for me. And that was the mood of the Guru Parampara, like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Right? At the age of 7, he had learned 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. At 11, he was studying Jaiva Dharma and doing translations and working with his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he went through some of the very esoteric books in our Sampradaya that he asked his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, "Can we get this printed?" It was not meant for general Vaishnavas to understand. It was such high topics. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "Yes, get it printed, but only 2 copies, only for you and me." And when he wants a Guru Maharaj and he comes to his father tells him that go to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who on the material side was illiterate. Prabhupada is saying here, a spiritual master can be illiterate man, but if he has faith in the spiritual master as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the meaning of the scriptures is immediately manifested before him. We know the story, how he went to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He said that I am not qualified. And when he requested so much, he said, "Okay, I will ask Mahaprabhu." We know 2, 3, 4 times, and Bhakti Siddhanta, Bimal Prasad, young Bimal Prasad is saying, "I will drown in Ganga." And finally, he gives his foot dust. And he says, "When my Guru Maharaj's foot dust touched my body, I fainted in an ecstasy and all my misconceptions were gone." He didn't have any misconceptions, but the mood of accepting the spiritual master. He's personifying that. So that's the mood of our parampara. And as Prabhu was saying, that there can be many highway robbers, right? Who are coming, lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion. And it's described. Amarendra Prabhu gave this example. Like it is like a mosquito net. What happens? There may be many mosquitoes, but if you are in the mosquito net, then the mosquitoes can't harm you. So Guru's instruction, following it is like the mosquito net. You might still get some impulses, lust, wanting to get angry about something, pride. It might come, but you are in that Lakshman Rekha. When Sita was in that Lakshman Rekha of Lakshmana, who is personifying the Guru, then Ravan could not come. Right? So when we are inside that mosquito net, we might still have anarthas around us that are still being purified, but they will not affect us as long as we are inside that net. As soon as we go outside that net, then of course you get bitten by those mosquitoes. So the mood is that this is my all in all. My spiritual master is my shelter. And in that way, when we surrender to the spiritual master and perform menial services to him, otherwise, what will we think? I think I am chanting. I am performing deity service. I am speaking. I am cooking. And if I do that nicely, I am just making that that ego of me doing this better as the focus of my advancement. When I'm new to Hare Krishna movement, ISKCON, I feel I'm very fallen. But the more I stay here for longer, I might think that yes, I chant so many rounds, I can speak this, I have this knowledge, I know this. And if the focus is not that this is not me, it is my spiritual master, it is my guru making me do this. The mood should be that I am chanting because my Guru Maharaj has prayed for me. It's through his mercy to please him that I am chanting. I am doing parikrama, means my spiritual master is actually doing parikrama of Govardhan. I am just following in his footsteps. I only know how to follow in his footsteps. He is arranging this for me where I can get association of wonderful devotees. I have a wonderful temple by which I can come and perform my services. Sometimes I might think my Guru Maharaj is in Mayapur. Yesterday I saw, I think Radhanath Maharaj is in GV, or different devotees are in different, gurus are in different places. But if I think that he is also limited like me, he is present there, I am here, how can he help me now? Then why did I even take initiation if I have that mentality? Guru means, just like Krishna is omnipotent, Krishna's associates, his parshads are also with him. So the spiritual master's influence is also there all over. Wherever we are in this world, our spiritual master's protection is influenced. Just like the sun is in one place, but the sun rays are all over. A police station can be one place, but the influence of the cops are everywhere. Similarly, the spiritual master basically gives us this arrangement by which we can follow in his footsteps. So I am doing the services not with my ability, but just in his guidance. So in that mood, when we perform the service, then one can actually receive that mercy. Prabhupada here, he speaks about, it is confirmed in the Upanishads, the import of the Vedic instructions is revealed automatically to one who has implicit faith in the Supreme Lord. So this is from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Prabhupada mentions this in many places. Yasya deve para bhakti, yatha deve tata guru. He says that prakashante mahatmana. A mahatma is one person who yatha deve tata guru. When he has implicit faith on the spiritual master and the deities, then the import of all the Vedas enters into his heart. Vedagyan Hriday Prakashito. So the spiritual master gives that mercy. And in the commentary to this, I heard that Jiva Goswami in the Sandarbhas, he describes that this is one level. Right? One level is that we consider the Guru to be equal to Yatha Deve Tata Guru. Both of them, we have implicit faith in the Lord and the Guru. But higher than that is recognizing that Guru is higher in one sense for my surrender to the Supreme Lord than even the personality of Godhead. And Jiva Goswami explains why. He says that in millions and billions of lifetimes, I have had the Lord as Paramatma guiding me through different bodies. But did I go away from Maya? No. But when he sent the spiritual master, then now I am performing devotional service and getting rid of Maya gradually. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. First Guru. First Hanuman goes and sets Lanka on fire. Then Ramachandra goes and rescues Sita. First Balaram appears, makes the heart fertile, then the Lord appears. So Guru comes before Krishna also. So in that he explains that there are two levels of devotees. One level of devotee basically is performing the devotional activities because Guru, using the medium of Guru, he is pleasing the deities. Because Guru Maharaj has instructed me, I am performing deity service. Because Guru Maharaj has told me this, I am performing my chanting so that I can please the Supreme Lord. But Jiva Goswami says that higher than that is one who is performing these activities so that I can please my Guru Maharaj. It pleases my Guru Maharaj, that's why I will do the service. It pleases my Guru Maharaj, that's why I will chant my rounds. It pleases my Guru Maharaj, that's why I'll follow the regulative principles, even if my mind is saying sometimes that no, I am getting more enjoyment in something else. So the end goal is the spiritual master. And when that is the mood of the devotee, then the scriptures reveal Krishna in our heart. So those are a couple of things I've heard and I wanted to share. Again, I have no qualification to speak anything, just for my own purification. I try to speak a few words and repeat some things I heard from Yugal Kishore Prabhu's class yesterday, from a few other classes I heard. So please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. Hare Krishna.
One question. Did you take Maharaj to that temple after that?
Yes. The next day I took this Maruti 800 of my friend in Manipal and I came. That day after Mangalarti, I told Maharaj. Actually, I was serving Maharaj when he was translating Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava book in Udupi. He wanted a very secluded place where he could just translate. And then we went to Vadabandeshwar temple after that. Yes, the next day. Yes. And actually, I prayed to him. I had not even desired or thought of getting initiated. This was 2 months before I was coming to America. And then that day, I remember after that service, that month, I was leaving. And I told him, Maharaj, please pray for me that I can get a spiritual master. And then he said, okay, I'll pray for you. And he put his hand on my head. And that night, I remember I was taking the bus back to Bangalore. And then I had a dream of something getting initiated, whatever. The point is, within a month, I had not aspired. I had not taken shelter. I had not even thought of initiation. Didn't even have a guru in my mind. Within 20 days, everything happened. The point is, by the mercy of a pure devotee, that's all we have. Yeah. I lied to my parents. I said I'm in an internship in Badify. They didn't know what internship it was. It was the best internship. Yes. Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hari Hari. Shri Prabhupada.
You want to ask them if they have questions?
No questions, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.